Welcome back to another show full of adventure on the high seas with CruiseAway. It's Derek and Joe serving up a dreamy half hour of the most incredible luxury cruising experiences. Welcome to the world of Oceania cruises.
It's another world with Oceania, one where attention to detail matches the relaxed atmosphere on board, enjoying the finest cuisine, service, and that feeling of really being able to lavish in the discovery of the journey. Now come with us as we plan for Treasures of East Asia for next year and the Ancient Spice Route for 2026, with even more summer sale inclusions if you book now.
Yes, prepare to be blown away by the offering on board with Oceania. And we'll start with a trip for earlier next year to the Coral Sea, Papua New Guinea and Indonesia, sailing from Sydney on the 10th of March on Oceania's Regatta. Oh, wonderful. We're on board, and this is where you want to be as well on board. You're talking about a smaller number of passengers. I mean, when have you ever sailed with less than 700 other passengers on board? But also at the same time had around 400 crew.
Yeah.
At your disposal. I mean, and that makes all of the difference. So this is a premium cruise product. It's one where we spend more to get so much more.
Yes, and having experienced the product several times, I mean, I've been on several of these ships, I have to say, I was blown away by the attention to detail, the quality, the low-key luxury that you get with Oceania, because it's not about being fussy and, you know, overkill. It's actually the spaces are just effortlessly luxurious. You know, the staterooms are incredibly comfortable and accommodating, and should you choose to upgrade to a suite, that's really special, that's for sure. Already included in your fare, you have gratuities, you have your drinks with dinner and lunch, your champagne, your spirits, your wines and beers, your soft drinks all the time whenever you want them as well. They've got a mini golf course up on deck. It's about the finest things in life. Lovely travel library as well. And lots of relaxing spaces, and you're never going to have to worry about finding a space to sit. You're never going to have to worry about finding, you know, a sun chair, a deck chair, because with a smaller amount of passengers, there are always going to be things available for you. Now, one thing that completely blew me away on Oceania was the food. And I'm talking up in the marketplace, which is the international buffet. Even just the quality up there, it's not your average buffet, that's for sure. Because you've got, I mean, everything is so beautifully laid out. They cook everything fresh for you. You know, you can go up there and get a fresh steak and salad, all made from, you know, made to order for you as well. But then, of course, there's tons of other dining options. The afternoon teas, you imagine like your most opulent and luxurious hotel back home. That's the class of afternoon tea you're going to be getting every day on Oceania, should you choose to have it.
Yes, and that means the difference. Forgive me for a second, but that is the difference between looking at a row of different flavoured tea bags to being presented with versions of the finest blends from around the world
in a wooden box.
Touch and feel and experience before they are expertly steeped in fine china for you, served up with the most delicious little petit four and cakes on the trolley, freshly made. I mean, the attention to detail, we're only just scratching the surface. We have a whole show to talk more about it. So let's start this cruise then. 20 nights, leaving out of Sydney, heading up to Brisbane first.
Yeah, exactly. Now, you might want to head off to the Gold Coast for the day, enjoy the beaches, the casinos, all the fun of the fair up there, as it's not too far away, maybe less than an hour on the train, actually. And the Koala Sanctuary in Brisbane is first class. Then we're on to Airlie Beach, where you can visit the incredible Whitsundays. Now, some tours you might want to take here include the exhilarating Whitehaven Expedition or Airlie Beach Segway Adventure. There's lots more, so do ask the team on board Oceania about this. Then we're on into Cairns, where you can enjoy the graceful tree-lined esplanade, which was the gateway to the goldfields of North Queensland. Right there, which meets you at the port, you've got loads of great markets. Of course, gateway to the Barrier Reef. Alatau in Papua New Guinea is next, and this is really an undiscovered paradise. I mean, you picture paradise, you think of these islands, right? Because it is paradisical. Perfect azure ocean, beautiful powder white sand. Maybe it's a beach day for you awaiting there. Then it's Darwin, and you've got the Territory Wildlife Park, which is well worth a visit, and Kakadu, of course. Now, make sure you get a guided tour there if you can to get the most out of it. Crocosaurus Cove, only for the brave, cage diving there. Komodo is next, and this is very interesting, part of the Lesser Sunda chain of Indonesian islands. It's the rugged habitat of the Komodo dragon monitor lizard, which covers the entire region. There's other wildlife there as well, and that's the Pink Beach, so pretty. Then we're on into Bali, Benua, port for Bali, where you can head up to Uluwatu Temple in the mountains and enjoy a traditional folklore show, or you might want to head over to the paddy fields for a little guided tour through these. Surabaya is next, and this is where you can enjoy the best of Java, of course, and in Surabaya you have got the famous goldsmithing districts and silversmithing districts to pick up some lovely jewellery, learn more about the handicrafts there as well. Semarang's next, and this is gateway to the incredible Borobudur Temple. I'd highly recommend visiting that on your #1 excursion list. You've also got some other great folkloric interest on offer. We're into Singapore, where we'll disembark and we'll spend an overnight on board and a further 2 nights in a 5-star Singapore hotel. And no one does 5-star better than Malaysia, I have to say. I mean, it's just incredible. You'll just feel like you're spoilt with luxury. And of course, there's all of the top sites there. There's the Cloud Forest in Gardens by the Bay, which is a must. Go to Singapore, go to enjoy Singapore Sling in iconic Raffles Hotel, of course, named after the founder of Singapore. Then we're going to fly you back to Sydney, Australia after this epic adventure.
And do you know what? 2 things I want to say to you right now. First of all, this is the life that you always meant to live. You will get on board with Oceania and say, this is how I should have been holidaying for the whole of my life. It's a very, very special experience. It's a lovely experience. It's a premium experience. But I'm going to put this side by side, doing a major upgrade on a long haul flight and the cost that might be. Pick any number of destinations. I'm not picking on one in particular, but you know how you can upgrade on a flight to the top of the top of the top, to the going upstairs thing and all of that. He says, I think it's like that. I've never done it. But you take the cost of something like that and then you put it next to this, which is an all-encompassing luxury experience with fewer people on board, more crew to look after you, never feeling like you are crowded in any way, shape or form, never waiting in a line outside the theatre to take your seats for the performance, never having that long line waiting at a gangway to get back on the ship or to get off the ship. You know, just that complete feeling like, wow, that was almost too easy. And so much was included at that price tag. And I want to take you straight to the price tag of this package, because again, I want to sit it side by side. You know, a premium upgrade for you on a long haul flight, just there and back. You could spend this kind of dollar on that very, very easily. But for this price here, you have the best part of 3 weeks of utter sheer indulgence sailing with Oceania on the regatta, sailing from Sydney, remember, and you're enjoying so much with this. And because it's summer sail as well, we're kind of enhancing that even further, taking everything that's included and adding even more to that. So we're adding to this, as part of the summer sale, your chance to enjoy beers, wines, champagne with both your lunches and your dinners on board the regatta. We're also going to add $500 of shore excursion credits. So if there are places that you haven't been to before, it's going to help you towards those discovery experiences. And we're going to include your gratuities. Normally things that you would be paying for as you went along the cruise, we will add those if you book right now. Of course, you end your cruise in Singapore. We have a 2-night stay there in a 5-star hotel included, and of course then your flight back to Sydney. It is the most incredible price tag for this luxury grade and type of cruising that you could possibly wish for. Listen, those in the know already know how good that price tag is. If you're trying it for the first time, I would dive in headlong. Now, Joe was talking about potentially upgrading to one of the suites. So let's look at the various upgrades there are on board Regatta. And we've got an ocean view. We've got a veranda stateroom there for you. And we also have the penthouse option as well. Yeah, there's a penthouse, and there's more than one penthouse. There aren't many. There will only be probably single figures in terms of penthouse accommodations on board, bearing in mind that the total number of passengers is way less than 700 on this. I don't know whether you've ever, and I know I always come back to talk about this, but if you've ever seen the series Below Deck, wherever around the world it is, first of all, you know the kind of dollar that those people spend on their charters. It's ridiculous. The amount they tip when they walk away from that charter is like, hang on a second, that wasn't the cost of your holiday. You've given them. But if you want much closer to that kind of experience, then Oceania is definitely the way to go, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you've been there, you've seen it, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely fell in love with this brand. Honestly, it's impeccable. Some of the best food I've ever experienced at sea, and I've been on most of the cruise lines, I have to say. So next we're exploring the treasures of East Asia with Oceania, taking in Japan, China and Hong Kong along the way. We begin our 18 nights on the 19th of May next year, flying from Sydney over to Tokyo for an exciting 3-night hotel stay.
Can be nothing but exciting, really, in Tokyo. Can it? If you've never been before, you have to go. And I know I've said this many times as well, but going to Japan is so much easier than it would have been even 10, 15 years ago, because we have all of the technology now on our mobile phones that can translate instantly for us. We've got conversation apps now as well, so we can turn Japanese
Konnichiwa. Very, very easily,
and then enjoy the experience even more.
Oh, absolutely.
It's time for us to cruise on the regatta again with Oceania. 12 nights we are on board, and those 12 nights, by the way, every single one of them will be just the most incredible experience, just the most calm experience, just the most easy experience for you to enjoy. You'll meet the most fascinating people on board as well. You often find people who are either having or have had very, very senior positions, very, very busy roles in their professional working life. Love a cruise like this because it is your chance to step off the grid, so to speak. I mean, you can keep in touch with Wi-Fi, the technology is there and whatever if you want to, but essentially you can also escape all of that as well. You can go back to reading a traditional newspaper if you want to. What a novelty that is in this day and age, and what a novelty it is to have the time to sit down and do that, actually.
And the lovely thing about Oceania as well, they call into smaller ports, there's more overnights, there's lots of experience choices in ports as well, lots of port information available. Included you have your soft drinks, your specialty coffees, bottled water, open seating, dining, your wines, champagne, beers, all of that with your lunch and dinner as well. And your shuttles to the ports are included, especially since we're going to be visiting to the smaller kind of off the beaten track ports, which is lovely. It's much more exclusive, and it's much more an exclusive experience than a lot of other cruise ships, and it's about the attention to detail and the quality of service that you'll enjoy every single meal, every time your stateroom steward comes to your room. the conversation. I love what you were saying about, you know, the people you'll meet on board, the quality of conversation that you'll have as well is going to be next level, I think, when you're on Oceania.
And pair that with the fact that Oceania will bring experts on board as well, be that guest luminary speakers, port speakers as well, who will really take you into the heart and soul and history of, you know, even if it's just, you know, a 45-minute overview presentation on one of the places that you are heading to find out a little bit more about that in good humour. It's not like a university lecture, it's an interactive conversation. You can ask questions, you can contribute to that as well, which is really, really lovely. Again, you feel very much like the attention is with you, which in a premium cruising experience it should be. Everything should be literally within arm's reach, and it totally is, including the boutique nature of the destinations that we're going to as well. So let's cruise out of Tokyo.
First port is Nagoya in Japan. Japan's prefecture, the Aichi prefecture, which is a real shipping hub. And you've got loads of great museums and also the pachinko, which are the gambling machine parlors, very fun. Osaka's next, where you can go and see the castle park. And there's Universal Studios as well, not too far away to visit, which might be quite interesting. The Ferris wheel and Sky Building give you lovely views, and you can head to dining and theatre experience and the famous Dontobori as well, which is well worth doing when you're in Japan. Next up, it's Hiroshima, where you can see the atomic bomb dome and Peace Park, or a guided tour of a sake brewery and tasting might be an interesting thing to do. Perhaps a traditional tea ceremony. I think that would be very fun. Then we're on into Nagasaki, which is often described as San Francisco of Japan, and you've got the verdant hills surrounded by a deep water bay. The Shimabara Castle and Village are definitely a sight to see, and of course some of these Schengen shrines are stunning. Then we have an overnight in fabulous Shanghai. We don't see this often on itineraries. Gorgeous skyline and attractions to see, a wealth with museums and galleries, the historic Shikumen houses, which are kind of a defining part of this part of the world as well, and one of the world's richest Art Deco collection of buildings. Then we're on into Xiamen, and this means door to the house, referring to the city's century-old role as the gateway to China. You've got lots of incredible temples and lots of history to visit. You could do a tea ceremony there as well. Then we're into Hong Kong, where we have an overnight on board, plus a further 2 nights in a hotel, which is 5-star, of course, in fabulous Hong Kong, and you'll be looked after you know, in real 5-star luxury when you're there. Hong Kong's an amazing city. It's really where East meets West. Of course, you've got Hong Kong Disneyland not too far away either. Take the Star Ferry over to Victoria Peak, which is something I really enjoyed when I was there. Incredible views. They're known for their shopping too. Of course, you can do your tax and duty-free shopping. You shop the market, shop electronics. And this is an overview of your amazing itinerary. Flying into Tokyo with your little mini break there, through some incredible ports in Japan, over into China, which we don't see on a lot of itineraries, and finishing up in fabulous Hong Kong before we fly you back to Sydney.
Yeah, it's kind of, this itinerary is ahead of its time, really. I have to say, it's so immersive, and you've got an awful lot going on here on this. So it's an incredible 18 nights actually. So included your flight from Sydney over to Tokyo, a 3-night stay in a hotel there, and then 12 nights of cruising on Oceania Regatta, cruising East Asia, including that overnight stay in Osaka in Japan and Shanghai in China, ending the cruise in Hong Kong with an extra overnight on board there, and then 2 further nights in a 5-star hotel before you then fly back to Sydney. And your cruise also includes some Simply More benefits, which you can take advantage of by booking right now. So that is the drinks with lunch and dinner as well, beers, wines and champagne, $500 of shore excursion credits, and your gratuities all included as well. Here is the package price. Oh my word. Now that is, I would say, with a holiday experience, one of the best ways to spend just under $10,000 on a holiday where truly end to end Everything is taken care of. If you want to know more about the experience with Oceania, there's much more detail on our website as well, cruiseaway.com.au. If you pop that number into our website, you get full details of the ship, of the facilities, of where you're going as well. Now, again, we can go up as far as the penthouse suite in terms of upgrades on this offer as well. So let's take a look at those. Ocean view and balcony and the penthouse suites are all there for you as well. Again, any questions, if you want to tailor the stays on that in any way, if you have any questions about that whatsoever, then please do speak to our team. Remember, it's toll free, 1300 408 765 is that number to call right now. Right, straight on then to our final luxury cruise, and this one's for April in 2026, and it traces the steps of the world's ancient worldwide trading route from the Far East to the Emirates, across incredible India and Sri Lanka along the way, as part of the Oceania Vistas World Cruise. Now, you can take advantage of our sale offer for this early booking right now, as we start 22 nights by flying you from Sydney over to Singapore first for a 2-night hotel stay. I love the fact that we're picking up part of a world cruise after this stay in Singapore. That's really, really exciting. I'd love to see Singapore, and I'd love to see it for the real contrast between, you know, 5-star hotels and high-end shopping to street food and the wonderful markets. I mean, that's got to be incredible to see. And then you're on board Oceania Vista. We're on board for 16 nights, and we are looking at the middle section of a 120-day world cruise that she starts on the 6th of January. Yeah. And you are joining in the middle of that, which will be quite special, I think.
Yeah, and this was the brand new launched Allura class, first in class, launched in May 2023. She's slightly larger with 1,200 passengers, but you will still get that small ship feel. This is the important thing to note about Oceania. I've been on the larger ships too, and I have to say, smaller, larger, they are all, you know, able to retain that quality that you'd expect from Oceania. 2 crew to every 3 passengers, all veranda accommodation on board. You know, this is really special. Lots included, of course, as we've already touched on during this show, your drinks with your meals, and your shuttle services in port, your luxury coffees, all of that stuff. All your dining is included too, and it is all of a superb standard, whether you are enjoying in the, you know, food in the international marketplace, or you're going to more of a specialty restaurant. It's all going to be included for you. The Polo Grill, Toscana, Privé, which is a lovely new intimate dining venue. You can choose 2 distinctive and unique multi-course pairings, limited to just 8 people per evening. That's a really nice special one.
And that's, you know, even more exclusivity. I don't know if you saw on the video, it was just about 30 seconds ago, they showed you the artist loft there, whereas a lot of cruise ships will have one probably quite plain room where crafting activities happen.
Yes.
You saw there all of the easels, all of the inspiration around the feel of the room, and that was just for, you know, watercolor and, you know, oil painting there. So it's not just a special facility included in the price of your cruise, but also in an inspiring space as well. Well, and that's what we're talking about, lifting everything up to the next level. It
does, it elevates, and you can learn ceramics, textiles, and more. It's not just even painting. I mean, and they have resident artists on board teaching you.
Yes.
So it's a really special experience.
I'd love to be one, wouldn't you?
Yeah, can you imagine?
Passenger or artist, I don't mind.
Yeah, afternoon tea at 4 o'clock every day with a classical string quartet playing, 4-tiered pastry carts filled with freshly made finger sandwiches, petit foie, scones, sinful desserts, although it's no sins when you're on a cruise, obviously, as we know. Calories do not count, but if they do, then you've got complimentary exercise classes that you can do as well in the gym, and you can walk around the deck, all of that fun stuff.
It's the best of cruising without the bits of cruising you don't need.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's sheer luxury. You'll love it. Here we go then.
Yes, we're off to Kuala Lumpur first, which of course is the home to the tallest twin buildings in the world, the Petronas Towers. Make sure you go and see them, but you can also go and visit the Batu Caves, which are hundreds of years old, a lovely piece of history. We have an overnight in beautiful Phuket, Thailand, where you can go and visit the Elephant Sanctuary, head over to Phi Phi Island for amazing snorkeling, or just do a spot of shopping whilst you're down there. I do love Phuket, and the beaches in Thailand are superb, as is the snorkeling, as is the sailing. Colombo in Sri Lanka's next, and Sri Lanka's known for lots of things. Sapphires, you can go and learn how the sapphires are mined and perhaps purchase some. Tea plantations, and also the Temple of the Tooth, that is world famous, to go and visit. We're into Cochin in India, in southern India, known for the famous Chinese fishing nets. You've got to take a picture of those, they are amazing. But you can see, traditional Indian dance ceremony with an orchestra. Make sure you ride a tuk-tuk to get the authentic experience, which you can indeed do in Mumbai, where you have an overnight, which is awash with some of the most incredible historical buildings. Dizzying marketplaces where you can shop for everything from silk and cashmere through to jewelry and spices. Then we're on to Muscat, Oman, which is where you can see the Sultan Qaboos Grand Mosque, and indeed the Royal Opera House, which is an amazing structure. You might want to do a best of tour when you're in Muscat, and do speak to the team on board when you're lining up any excursions. Next up, we're into Kasab in Oman, which is in the northern Musandam Peninsula, and the fort has incredible crenellated stone turrets, which an interesting archaeological finds to learn about. Then it's Abu Dhabi, where you can see the Louvre Abu Dhabi, which is quite interesting, and Ferrari World as well awaits you. Or perhaps you're going to take a desert safari in a traditional jeep, and that's going to be quite amazing, isn't it? We're going to disembark in Dubai, and we have 3 nights in the City of Gold, and this is a really interesting desert city, and you might have been to Dubai on stopovers if you've been heading over to Europe before, but this is a nice amount of time to be spending in Dubai. Now, you can shop till you drop in some of their many malls or souks, or perhaps head out on the incredible river or up to the top of the Burj Khalifa for amazing views.
It is incredible. I mean, what an experience. I mean, the whole of this, brilliant. And actually, in the back of your mind, you are there with mariners of old following those ancient spice routes across this part of the world. Incredible. You've got more inclusions if you're booking right now with us. So you've got beers, wines and champagne with lunch and dinner also included, and $500 of shore excursion credits, plus all of your gratuities and service charges as well. We're going straight to a veranda stateroom here as well for you at just under $12,000. That is for your balcony, which is incredible, and you will love every second of it as well. There is one further upgrade from here to a concierge veranda at an extra $1,399. And again, if you want to know what all of these things mean in terms of the cruise line, in terms of the perks and the inclusions that you get, if you want more advice on that, then call our team on 1300 408 765. But kind of take it as read that you won't be dipping into your pocket at all very often when you're on board one of these luxury ships, because this is all about the ultimate in relaxation, and it is a premium product. It is a considered price tag, but what that returns in terms of space, feeling, attention is one of those things that, even if you don't crave service attention, you notice when you're not getting attention when it comes to service. And when you're on holiday, the last thing you want is to notice that you are not being attended to while you're on holiday. And this is about taking all of that worry away and lavishing that attention on you. And I'm afraid it's on you right now to talk to our team, because we've run out of time. Indeed. Thank you so much for sticking around, though. We're here every day, remember, on Gecko. So we'll see you back here again when we cruise away.
Bye for now.